Welcome to Managing Teams. And our question in this particular section of the module is really, what skill sets do I need as a leader to manage a team? In the module, you will find a set of readings on teams. In the discussions in the reading, you will read about what does it look like to have teams, what are the pros and cons of teams, what are the issues that teams go through as they get to know each other, what are the conflict issues that teams might have, and in this case, our question, as I speak, is really, how do you as a leader manage all these issues? So while the module readings discuss the issues around teams and forming and norming and how teams operate, discuss the issue of teams and organizations, small teams, large teams, and successes in teams, my objective for this particular session is to handle and tackle the question of what do I need and what skill sets do I need as a leader to manage teams. I invite you to be self-reflective. Pick up a book, a piece of paper and a pen, and begin to journal and understand what skill sets do I have currently in managing teams and where are my gaps. You will find at the end of this particular section within the readings that you have an activity for some of the ways in which you can improve your skill sets in this particular areas. In this section, I highlight 7 areas for managing teams. And out of those 7 areas, I will separately discuss 2 of them. This does not mean that the other 7 or the other 5 are not important, but I feel that these 2 will be important for you as you manage teams. So let's go through the 7 areas for managing teams together. The first one is communication. There is no question that the way you communicate as a leader is very important. And as you will go through the different modules and the different courses within the 100 million learners, you will find this a recurring theme in our learning, how to effectively communicate. So the question for you as a leader is, do I have the skill sets to effectively communicate? Do I know what it means to effectively communicate? What does effective communication look like? It is important to remember that communication is part of our culture. And indeed, a lot of the ways in which we communicate are cultural. And so, I remind you again to reflect on your own culture and how does your culture influence your communication. There will be a separate module on national cultures and the cultures of the globe and what this means for communication. Here, the question you're being asked is, do I have the skill sets to communicate effectively? Remember, the goal of a leader is to help the members of your team. And to help the members of your team, then you need to communicate effectively and to ensure that they understand you and understand each other. And so in a separate section, we will discuss communication in more detail. The second big skill set that we want to have as we manage teams is emotional intelligence. A word oftenly used, but not really fully discussed in how we think about what is emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence for you as a leader is the ability to be self-aware about your strengths, your limitations, your emotions, your beliefs, your values, your motivations. So step back and begin to see, are you self-aware? Are you self-aware about your strengths? What are your strengths? Take a minute to write them down. What are they? What are your limitations? What do you know and don't know? I'm always reminded of Mahatma Gandhi, who always said that a leader is one who is able to surround themselves with even better leaders. That ability to know that I don't know this, but I have so-and-so in the team that knows and has got this. Remember, you're managing a team. So your emotional intelligence is completely important to the ability to which and the strength to which you will manage your team. We will have a separate section on emotional intelligence, specifically because I believe this is a very big, important step in understanding our self-leadership journey and our self-leadership process. So take some time to pen down my thoughts around emotional intelligence. You will find in the module reading a little bit about emotional intelligence. Have a read at that and begin to see, am I there? What do I need to improve on? to get myself at great emotional intelligence. The third one is the ability to understand organizations and organize yourself well. That is a skill set. The ability to organize and understand what it means to organize teams in an organization. Budgets, system, process. What does this mean? And how do I do it effectively? As a leader, you need to be able to understand the tasks that are in front of you. What tasks are they? How do you divide tasks among your team members? Who does what? How do you ensure that the tasks can completely be coherent and still meet the overall vision and goal of the organization? How do you ensure that the issues in the environment are being tackled within the organization and the team? It is important for you as a leader to be very clear about your skill set in managing within the organization, being organized and understanding all the different attributes about what gets an organization to run, how to ensure that the visioning of the organization is well done. So very important. Now, you may not be great at finances, for example, but it's important for you to understand as a leader really what financial means for the organization and for the team. It's important to ensure that your team has a mix and a set of composite that allows you to achieve your goals. We are not asking you as a leader to have a knowledge of every single attribute of managing organizations, but we are asking you as a leader to know it, at least to understand it. So take some time and say, what do I need to know as I run organizations? Do I understand what makes this organization run effectively? Do I understand what profitability looks like if I'm in a private sector business? Do I understand what it means to meet my stakeholders' needs, if I'm in a civil society? What does it mean to really organize? And then on top of that, what does it mean for my own self-organization? So as you take some time, really begin to think through, and in the module you have some readings and begin to understand what does this mean for me as a leader. The fourth one is the ability to delegate. Often said, but for some leaders not that easy. How do I delegate? How do I ensure that I delegate? That I manage my team members and I allow them to work. And I don't become the tyrant leader who wants to micromanage everything and wants everything to go through them. I'm sure you've met leaders like that. They're very good with visioning and they're very good with giving you the team, but they want everything to go through them. It is important that you as a leader take a step back and say, I need to let my teams run efficiently. I need to harness the skill sets of my team and allow them to lead. Doing so is important for you as a leader, and not doing so is detrimental to the team. So it is important that you delegate and you allow your team members to provide you feedback and you also provide them feedback. It is a continuous loop process, but it is important that you as the leader believe in your team. How do you show belief? In the ability to delegate and in allowing your team members to shine and allowing them to grow and allowing them to mentor and to coach them. Your delegation process is important for mentoring and coaching. Your delegation process is important for team building. Your delegation process is important for cohesion in the team. Your delegation process allows the team to really tick and work together. Delegation comes in several forms. And you will see from the reading that we have discussed a little bit about what it means to delegate and delegate efficiently. The fifth one is openness. The ability that you are open. Many times we have this joke that we say, have an open door policy. But really the heart of the question is, do you have an open mind? Because you might have an open door but not have an open mind. Two very important and different things. So let's look about the open mind. The fact that you as a leader are emotionally intelligent and have emotional intelligence and are effective at communication, and you are open in the ability to confront issues, to speak about things that people can approach you. Are you approachable? Can people come and chat with you? Can they share their challenges with you and their joys as well? And celebrate and laugh? Are you able to have fun? Are you relatable? In the module, there's a bit of reading on creating and adapting your skill sets to openness and finding a place and a space for you as a leader to be able to be free with your team, to be able to talk with your team, to be able to create feedback loops that are amazing and interesting in coffee conversations, over lunch, and even in formal processes within the office. The sixth one for us to be looked at, the final one, number 7, is problem solving. How do we problem solve? How do you as a leader problem solve when you have a problem? No matter how prepared you are, no matter how organized you are, it is important that your ability to problem solve exists. So the question for you is, am I good at problem solving? Do I create systems for problem solving? Do I run away from problems, or do I sit down and face them and solve the problem? Will there be problems in your teams? Yes. The good strength of a good leader in managing teams is the ability to problem solve. And so, 7 ways in which you can harness and manage your teams. Number 1, problem solving. Number 2, openness. Number 3, ability to delegate. Number 4, organization. Number 5, emotional intelligence. Number 6, communication. So 6 different ways in which we are saying, and I said 7, but really there are 6 different ways. And there are more out there, and if you'll find in the reading that there's actually a bit more that I have highlighted on thinking through your communication and your self-awareness. And so, as we think about managing teams, let us remember that we need to ask ourselves, do I have the skill sets? The reading before you gives you an opportunity to reflect. Your journaling gives you an opportunity to say, what skill sets do I need to own? And there are some exercises that have been given to you in the module, and I hope you'll take time to harness them and develop them. We will be talking about emotional intelligence and communication in managing teams. So I encourage you to move on to the next audio session on managing teams in relation to communication and managing teams in relation to emotional intelligence. Thank you.